Welcome back to our channel, ladies and gentlemen. More drama, more humility, no more chest thumping. William Ruto has moved in to implement yet another one of the demands that Raila Odinga had put in place yesterday. Raila had told them that you must terminate all the cases of the Azimio leaders and supporters who were arrested while participating in the demonstrations. And so, just hours after meeting the Kenya Kwanza leadership in State House to fast track the committee, the bipartisan committee, to ensure that they have a bipartisan approach to the appointments of the IEBC officials, William Ruto has instructed the DPP to withdraw all the cases against the Azimio leaders. This is what is reported. DPP drops case against Azimio leaders charged over protests, and it continues to say the Director of Public Prosecutions, Nordin Haji, has withdrawn a case against six Azimio leaders who were charged with participating in the unlawful demonstrations and malicious property damage. The DPP, through Prosecution Counsel, informed the court that for this, I want you to get this, that for the sake of dialogue and peace, they sought to withdraw the case. We wish to withdraw the case under Section 87A of the Penal Code to create an enabling environment for peace between the accused persons and the state. I urge that the matter be withdrawn, the prosecution said. Ugunja MP James Opiyo Wandayi, Kilifi Senator Stuart Mazayo, Richard Chonga of Kilifi South MP, Amina Laura Mnyazi, Malindi constituency, George Yogo Obure, and Esther Oromi, who did not appear in court, were discharged by Kahawa Law Court's Senior Principal Magistrate Boaz Ombewa on Monday. The judge said, I have considered the application by the state for withdrawal of the six accused persons under Section 87, and I hereby discharge them, Magistrate Ombewa said. You know, there is something that we need to make clear. For the sake of peace, they have decided to withdraw the cases. So it means that the cases were leveled against them unlawfully. Because let me tell you, there is no way you can withdraw a criminal case if you know very well that someone committed an atrocity. So it goes without saying that all these cases were politically manifested. But there is one thing that Kenyans continue to question. Gachagua had said that they would consider those who are going for demonstrations as robbers. In fact, he said they would be treated as those who participate in robbery with violence. And he said that under the penal code, the repercussion is very enormous, which means he was going to instruct the police to shoot them, because if a police meets a person who is engaging in robbery with violence, he would be shot dead. And that is what Gachagua had said while in a church service somewhere in Western. Now, instead of arresting and killing more people, those who had been arrested are being released. Look at that. It tells me that this Kenya Kwanza team is divided. There is Gachagua with his line of thought and his people, and William Ruto is here with his line of thoughts. This is not the first time this is happening. I remember during the demonstrations, a police officer could come and announce to the whole nation that the demonstrations have been outlawed and anybody who is found participating will be dealt with thoroughly. And then the Interior Cabinet Secretary Kithure Kindiki comes and says that the demonstrations would go on and they will protect property, and they urge the participants to ensure that they conduct themselves within the law. This Kenya Kwanza team is really divided. It is now in the public domain that when a certain quarter of the Kenya Kwanza team led goons to go and invade Uhuru's land. There is another quarter that was not aware. They learned about it later. Rigathi Gachagua and Kithure Kindiki are not reading from the same page. Rigathi Gachagua has always had a very strong stand. When the Nairobi governor wanted to evacuate the long distance vehicles from the CBD, Rigathi Gachagua came out and said that their people are being targeted. It is the same as this one here. He has been left with a rotten egg on his face because everything that he said have been thwarted. Kimani Ichung'wah said that you arrest Raila Amolo Odinga, nothing will happen. Now they realize that instead of Raila being arrested, cases against his people are being terminated. Let me tell you, ladies and gentlemen, I know many people are disappointed. They expected Raila to continue with the demonstrations to ouster William Ruto from office. But sometimes, and I say sometimes, we need peace in our country. Sometimes we need peace in our country. Those who have closed their businesses for some times will be happy to open their businesses today. We have people who own vehicles and they have loans to pay. If you ask them, they will tell you how painful it was for them. But now Rigathi Gachagua is realizing that when Raila started his politics, Rigathi Gachagua was still in what I call political napkins. Because Rigathi Gachagua was a DO under the Moi regime and they were persecuting people. He became a member of parliament in Mathira constituency for just one term and then he climbed to the position of the deputy president. No wonder he is behaving like he's the only person who lives in Kenya, like he's the one person who should make decisions on behalf of all the Kenyans. Rigathi Gachagua does not believe in the constitution. He believes that it is either his way or the highway. But I thank God that there are voices of reasoning. Look at what is happening now. They are implementing everything that Raila told them. But I know there is one big question that no one has answered. What happens to the stolen victory in the August polls? Because I have seen very many comments, even on this channel, people are saying Baba is being cheated. He should have gone to know what is contained in the server. I'm also questioning why this server is not being opened. Is there something that we don't know? Is it pushing William Ruto to another world? Because you know what I've always said, I thought that when Raila realized that there was a lot of pressure from certain community, the business community, the clergy, the international community, his friends, he decided to give dialogue a chance. But he knows very well that there are certain things that William Ruto will not accept. And I can assure you that it's not only the server. Let me tell you where Raila is going to catch William Ruto. The subsidies. Because Raila made it very clear that you must bring back the subsidies that were initiated by the former regime. Subsidies on unga, subsidies on electricity, subsidies on fuel. This is something that William Ruto will not accept because they had signed a deal with the IMF that for him to be given certain amount of loan, he must drop the subsidies. And he did that, and already he has received part of that loan. And I believe that this is where Raila will jump the gun and say, you have refused to bring back the subsidies. Now we are going back to the streets. So very many people I know feels that Raila should have gone to the end. Let us wait and see what is happening. And it is because of the past. When Raila is about to reach the promised land, he retreats. But for the sake of peace, we need to give dialogue a chance. For the sake of tranquility, so that you live with your brothers and sisters the way you've lived before. So 2 of them have been implemented already. We know that Parliament will be reconstituted with the committees. They have released those who are arrested. So we are waiting for the subsidies, and maybe, just maybe, we want to know what Raila will say. I know there is a lot of pressure from Raila Amolo Odinga to explain what happens to the server. And I know he's not going to keep quiet. He's going to give us the reasons why they're not talking about the server. But Rigathi Gachagua now knows that Raila Amolo Odinga is not a joke. When Raila says something, don't trivialize, don't think it is. Because when this thing started, Rigathi had said that atakimbia, alafu he will just run around the country. Then what will he do after that? Now Rigathi Gachagua is realizing that he is at the center of the implementation of some of these things that he did not want. Yesterday he was in State House. Today he was also called in State House, and they were meeting Kimani Ichung'wah. So he will be forced to implement, or if he will not implement, he will be part of the implementation committee. Because when Ruto does something, Rigathi Gachagua is obliged to accept, whether he likes it or not. And you see, he's so much obsessed about succession politics. 2027 and 2032 is still a long way. William Ruto is telling that they need to fix the economy. He's thinking of succession politics. So, ladies and gentlemen, I know wherever he is, it's painful for him. Kimani Ichung'wah, it's very painful. Ndindi Nyoro, it's very, very painful. But that is the situation where we are. Kenya is bigger than individuals. We cannot have three people, I don't know, Rigathi Gachagua and Kimani, trying to dictate what is happening in the country. And even to William Samoei Ruto, he knows very well that he has just made a U-turn because of the pressure. And you know, it is the pressure from the people. When people decide to do something, it must be implemented. And I know this is why they're saying that if they had gone a notch higher, the survey would have been opened. But let's see and wait.